Everybody, it's that time. There's a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot of big topics. It might be for the holidays, but news is still going down. So now it's time to get into it. Let's get it. All right, the very first thing I want to talk about for our general topics right here is Warner Brothers deciding or putting it out there to buy Paramount. On top of this last week that Paramount Studios was up for sale. Now, when this went down, of course, the president and CEO right now, she ended up taking over Paramount from her father, or her grandfather passed away, and then she was fighting with her father over the rights to it. She got it, but apparently at this point, Paramount's not doing well. We talked before, Paramount Plus itself will not make a profit until 2027. So you get the books, it's really bad, it's not looking good. It's time to either sell off different individual properties or sell the whole thing off. And last week, we were like, what's going to happen? We had some talks. Now, Zazos himself, Mr. loves to buy studios that are dying. This is weird to me because he bought Warner Brothers when he ran Discovery, bought Warner Brothers at a big loss. Like that thing was already going down. He was like, hey, Paramount's doing horrible. I might as well buy that too. Hell yeah, I'll buy all the fucking failing studios and make one big failed studio that's losing hemorrhaging money every day. That sounds great. I don't know. That's his prerogative. But for me, it just seems weird. But honestly, their library itself, shit. I know, Peppy, but I mean, their property in general, it's a lot of property, a lot of videos, a lot of movies, and they also have BET right now. They're talking about selling that off to Byron Allen, who is a big person pushing for getting that over to his network because he's been doing stuff for years, producing products. So maybe he'd buy that off. So that's an opportunity. But if Zaslav wants it all, I guarantee the Axis Zaslav will take it, swoop down, and take the whole studio right over. And then we can have such properties like, we have Looney Tunes and, we have Warner Brothers has what, Matrix, they have and Paramount has what, Harry Potter? No, that's Warner Brothers. Paramount has Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, first Looney Tunes. We could have that. I don't know. But you'd have the crossover event of the century, I guess. It's not really. But they're buying it at a loss if they do buy it, and they could bring it all together into one big hub, and people are calling it Warnamont. They're having fun with it, I guess. Their stock went down 40% when it was at its highest, which is not good. And it keeps sinking. And it's a great lot. And if you go there, I have friends that are working on Paramount right now. I have a friend working up a show there. He's like, you would never know that it's doing bad because there's a lot of people working, a lot of productions. Of course, we're back from the strike. But I've heard for years, ever since I worked on Thundermans back in the day, that Paramount was in a bad spot, and they just keep making it happen. Big movies like Mission Impossible come out, and they do well. But it's a big thing to be selling off. Isn't Zaslav the guy who always canceling stuff? Yeah, he's canceled everything because when he took over Warner Brothers, he again, it was at a loss, and he's just trying to axe everything, write things off because he's like, I need to make money for the studio. So he's been writing everything off. Tried to write he wrote off the Batgirl movie, wrote that off. He's trying to axe things left and right. Looney Tunes movie, tried to axe that. Now they might sell it. There's a lot happening over there, and I think that if he buys Paramount, you're going to see a lot of cut on people. You're going to have a lot of people fired. They were talking about that already, and you're going to also see a lot of productions that are moving forward be canceled too. But you'll probably get more Star Trek. And then you'll get more of Tom Cruise running too because that can't stop.
On Mission Impossible, that'd be a great match.
What do you think, GR? Is this a crazy idea, or do you think that Warner Brothers should buy Paramount, bring that sumbitch together, and make one big network? What do you think? It'd be almost a monopoly if you ask me. But what do you think about this? Is that a good idea?
Yeah, why not? Let's throw away a few billion more.
Do you think that's a good idea, though, to buy something at a loss like this? Because Warner Brothers already isn't doing the best, and there's already rumored, GR, they're going to sell the Universal on top of this. So does it be like a way to make Universal want to buy it even more?
I don't know. People do the craziest shits, Brian, and nothing in this industry surprises me.
I know. It's all about money, GR, though. It's all about money. At the end of the day, you're going to try to find a way to make that bling, bling, dollar, and maybe that he has an idea that, again, could package it together. But would you buy anything at Paramount? If you had the money, you had the cojones, the money, the brass, would you go ahead and buy Paramount and make it your own and call it the GR Studio lot or what?
Yeah, right. I might. There's part of it that could make money, but the rest of it you have to dump.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. And that's what they're talking about, too. The lawyers are saying maybe just dump things, like the local networks. Ron and I talked about this the other week, too. Local networks, you dump, you could also dump the individual Paramount Plus, Paramount Global, or Paramount Television. There's a bunch of different things. You could actually sell studio space. There's a lot of ways of making money back. Sell off the lots, maybe, and then just you don't have that real estate. But I guess that's a big money maker for them as well. So that might be a hard thing to sell. I don't know. For me, I think the best bet is just sell it all at once. I mean, she did want she wanted Paramount, the whole company, for years. She fought for her father for 4 or 5 years. She got it. And you get something at a loss this big in the hole. It's like, what do you do? I think you just cut your losses at this point. What do you think, Ron? I know we've talked about this before. Do you think that this is a good idea for WB to pick this up and make it Warnermont, or do you think that they should just let it be and let it die and let them break it off and have it disappear forever?
I don't think anybody should let Paramount die. It's history.
It is history.
I don't think that Warner Brothers is the best suitor for it. I'd like to see, a smaller with money like an Amazon or Apple take over something with their kind of programming, because new blood needs to be brought into it. The new blood is not in Warner Brothers.
Yeah, you're right. And what do you think about I was talking to JR about it too just a second ago. What do you think about the idea? Because there is these rumors going around in town that Zazos is trying to eventually sell it off to Universal. Could this be a way to make Warner Brothers more appealing to other people to sell it off?
I mean, God, that's a roundabout way to do something. It's very duplicitous, but that's very Hollywood. I don't know if that would really help it. I can't say. No.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where my mind went though a little bit, because I saw that and I was like, but there's all these rumors already. The axe of Zazos is trying to get rid of this. So it's fascinating to me. And honestly, Paramount shouldn't die. More IPs for Warner Brothers to destroy. You're right, Racer X. They love to kill the IP-ness. They chop it right down. But for me, it's just a tough game.
Well said, Racer.
Yeah, well said. Chop it down. Lexi, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Okay, WB, huge already. Big company. You got Zazos, you got Discovery, already merged with that. One big merger already. Would this even be allowed? Would the government let this happen? Is this all smoke and mirrors? Or do you think that there is a plan that Zazos has where he could take this big company and either sell it off, or maybe conquer Hollywood, maybe buy somebody else next? What do you think the axe of Zazos' plan is?
I
Zazzinator.
was going to say exactly what you said. I don't know why the government's not stepping in on this shit. These are monopolies. These are big monopolies. I don't know how we're not in this position. Every time I'm on with you guys, we're at the end of late stage capitalism. We're in that fucking point where there's 3 companies that own everything. I mean, if Disney was in a bid for this, they would own more than, because they own 20% of all media. So
when they bought Fox, they became even bigger.
If Warner Brothers owns Paramount, then what? Then how much media does Warner Brothers own then? It's too much. It's too much to allow that to occur. I mean, if an individual wants to buy Paramount and keep Paramount going, I don't disagree with Ron. Paramount needs to be alive. Paramount's a wonderful company with a wonderful history. It's bullshit to watch, these legacy companies who deserve to continue their legacy when they were good companies and they were putting out quality products. I mean, Paramount was putting out some of the best products as far as film is concerned for years and years and years. Warner Brothers used to put out some of the best products too. So it's watching these companies stagnate and stuff. I mean, I was happy to see somebody buy up MGM and try to save their properties, but then Amazon bought it and they're not really utilizing it properly. And it's does a shipping company need to be the one who buys up, the fucking, and it's that's what they are. They're a shipping company. Let's not sit here and put, semantics on it. Company. They're not an art company.
Doesn't it follow the money?
They're also a giant penis rocking company.
It's an interesting thing to talk about following the money. I watched a thing the other day about the Blair Witch Project. And when you talk about the top grossing movies, ever, when you look at the list of the top grossing films of all time, it's Avatar 2 is on that list, right? But Avatar 2 cost $500 million to make. And then there's the advertising side of it. And then it pulled in what was it, 1.3 billion, something like that was what it pulled in. The Blair Witch Project was $25,000 to make. And then it pulled in $258 million. How is that not a better return? If you invested $100,
that's pretty good money.
If you invested $100 into the Blair Witch Project, the money you got back from that, you could buy a house with. If you invested $100 into, Avatar, you would not be able to buy a house with your returns. So the end result is art is what is viable for money. And so I don't understand this idea that you should go out and take these IPs and keep playing this game of playing it safe, because history shows us that playing it safe has never made money. Clerks cost $10,000 to make. That movie made millions. If your movie costs like, I mean, Get Out is a good example. I always go back to that one as a modern day example. That movie cost $1 million to make. That movie made a killing. If your movies cost so much to make, and people are not interested in seeing the same thing over and over, like very clearly, like allowing people to be creative and create original art. Like we talk about A24 all the time. A24 is putting out creative original art pieces that cost nothing to make.
All the time.
People are interested in those, and those movies are making money, and now that studio is growing. The problem with that studio's growth is that what's going to happen, we're going to have a Lionsgate and a Blumhouse, just like we've talked about before. Once they start growing and they become better than what they are, then they start becoming another Paramount, another whatever. There needs to be a point where the people who hold the money, like we don't have those mid-tier movies anymore that exist, things like Fight Club and stuff like that. Those were mid-tier films, you know what I mean? Movies
You're damn right.
that cost a certain, like a little bit more than like a $25,000 film, but not, an Avatar. And those movies don't exist anymore. You're either like making an Avatar or A24 is covering, the other side of like, that sort of stuff. So it's like, don't you understand to make money that really you're better off investing low sums of money into art, and that art is really the smart route to go rather than buying up thousands and thousands of dollars in IPs. And instead of like letting you guys buy Paramount and merge it together with your company so you can have more fucking IPs to go out
84 million for Prey.
doing, then why not go, what we should do? Let's invest in, like I keep saying all the time, if I had the money, I would make my own studio called $1 Million Projects, and I would just give anybody who wants to make a movie $1 million.
You
know what I mean?
If I had it, I'd make Harrison, The Valley,
But you know what I'm saying? Like you give a creative person $1 million, you let them go out and make their project. You look at their project, you go, this sounds viable. Here's $1 million, go make it, right? If it turns over for you, good. If it doesn't, you only invested $1 million in it. Where's the loss, right?
But that goes back to a point we've made on this show numerous times. The powers that be don't want originality. They want, quote unquote, safe bets. Oh, we made that. Let's make it again. Oh, don't be original. That could lose money.
But
God, not that.
It's so funny because like I'm taking myself, like as an artist, I'm taking myself out of the art equation, right? I'm looking at it from a capitalist standpoint. When I did my podcast about film remakes, the original films that the remakes were based on were always like, they took a risk on a low budget film. They went out, they had success with it. They made millions of dollars. Somebody goes, hey, that movie did really well. Let's redo it. It's like, it did well because it was a fluke. You know what I mean? But also it was somebody taking a chance on an original idea and it had success. Yeah. It's not going to work again. It was a shot in the dark. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't remake the Blair Witch Project, but you can give somebody the money to go out and try their own Blair Witch Project. And it's
they'll
also
try to do it though.
Not necessarily that like make the Blair Witch Project again, but their own version of it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, give the creative individual the opportunity to go out and make their own, and then
take a risk,
put that into a theater, and then see what the end result is, because you're going to end up with better results. You're always going to make more money investing in new art than you are investing in the same art. And I don't understand how when I followed the trail of money, when I followed like the results, these remakes weren't making money, and the end results weren't making money. And so it's just like, I don't know why you think this is a good investment when the numbers don't add up. As an investor, as a moneymaker, the numbers don't add up.
You're wasting a lot of money. You're wasting a lot of money.
You guys are spending, and it's like with James Cameron. James Cameron's numbers, when you look at the top grossing films of all time, James Cameron's numbers are inflated. He takes his movies and puts them back in theater over and over and over
and over again. He loves that.
So it's
shit.
like they put Avatar. They were like, Avatar made $2.3 billion. Well, yeah, of course it did. You kept taking it and putting it back in the movie theater. It's like Titanic. You kept taking it and putting it back in the fucking movie theater.
He's like, we're doing True Lies right now and using AI to fix all of it too. He's using AI to fix some of their graphics and stuff. And I'm like, James Cameron is using AI? Fuck you, man. That's all I can say.
I think that James Cameron used to be one of the most brilliant filmmakers, and I think there's a point where he stopped. And like, I think he gets more praise than he deserves. I think he's brilliant in his understanding of how to manipulate the system. You know,
Yeah.
like I think there's a
He
brilliance
went
in that.
from a filmmaker to a money maker, and that's what it's all about.
And that's all he worries about now. And of course, he's got that deal with Disney now. He was Fox before Disney now, and they just keep pumping him full of money. He's got Avatar 3, 4, 5 coming, and he's going to, beyond that, he'll probably do something else. Maybe he'll do another spin-off of something else. Titanic 2 will come eventually.
And those were a good investment to you.
It wouldn't fucking surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Raise
What
the
are
Titanic
people-
as a book.
How are people going to look back in time and look at those films? Like, you know, I know, like when we talk about like The Thing, right? The Thing was a financial failure, the remake of The Thing, by, you know, and it destroyed. God, why can't I think of his name? John Carpenter's career. Destroyed his career, but it's now hailed as like a critical classic. You know, it's one of the best like remakes ever made and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because people just didn't get it in the moment. And the Blair Witch is the same way. People just didn't get it in the moment, but it still made its money. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it's that understanding of like, how will this fare down the road? How will people look at this in the future? And it's like, well, even if it makes money in the moment, will people still respect it down the road? And I think that's when you start asking yourself about the art, right? That's when you start whatever. But I think in the moment, like, look how Blair Witch was sold, right? People thought it was a real movie.
Mm-hmm.
So people went to that movie
really
like
well.
80. They went,
It's
oh, it's real, right? And then they went and they saw it and they were mad at it. They were furious at it because it wasn't real. And they were like, oh, I hate this movie. And then for like about 10 years, people hated the Blair Witch because they thought it was fake. And they were like, oh, I felt ripped off by it. They still made the fucking $258 million off of it. They got you, didn't they? So even if it wasn't like whatever, they still made a $25,000 film that they made their money on, you know? Like, well, I think like that's what you look at. You go, hey, I can make a lot of money ripping people off in that way, and thinking about like the spectacle. Think about the spectacle. It's all spectacle, right?
Oh, there's also a spectacle, Lexi. Another project I would say that's just like blowing people out. It's a big spectacle, and I think they've taken people's money too. Is the Fast and the Furious, and they cannot stop making those.
Yo, player, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the Pep Star needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.